This was in news, no? Come. This was in news, no? Short selling. I also shared an article on this. What is short selling? Selling in short span of time. What is short selling? Mentorship, foundation. What is short selling?
Buying it and selling it.
तो खरीदोगे तो बेचोगे तो सही. Why it is called short selling? Why it is called short selling? You are right. My question is why it is called short selling. In the stock market, what is the general position? You buy at a lower rate, sell at a higher rate. You try to buy at a lower rate and then try to sell at a higher rate. You buy at a lower rate, what is the expectation? That the price will go up. This position is called, this position in stock broking is called long position. Buying it at a lower rate, expecting the price will rise in future date so that you can sell it at premium. This is called long position. But instead, he talks about selling it at high and buying it at this situation is called short selling. Selling it at high, this is the position. The moment the price falls, immediately buying it. So here the sale is not intended to get rid of the shares, no, it is just, that's why called short selling. The intention is to encash upon this profit. So selling it at a higher rate, the moment the price falls, again buying it. That is why this is called short selling. The intention is not to sell, the intention is to hold the share, but because the rate is too high, you immediately sell. The moment rate falls, again you buy. So that is the reason why this is called short selling. Very important in news. I have shared an article, certain other important points related to this. Prelims के लिए very important. ठीक है? Yeah. One more topic I think which I have not included here. Which is not there in this, which is important in news, which is not there in these 11 articles. One more article in news, economy. Inflation in milk, I think today only I posted it. The high inflation in milk products. How many of you read the article? Saw the article? Reading, expecting to read is a, expecting, They are talking, no, now the prices of milk is going. The article reads inflation in, why, what is the article saying? Why there is a rise in the prices of milk? No. He read the article. It says during COVID time, the restaurants were closed, hotels were closed, the entire tourism came to a standstill. The demand for milk will reduce. Understand the dynamics, demand, supply and price. When the demand reduced, will the supply continue? No, the supply will also have to be accordingly reduced so that the price remains at equilibrium. But what happened? But this could not be achieved instantly because the farmers have to do some corrections. See, the supply of milk, you have to understand, is dependent, the supply of milk by the farmers to the dairy corporation is dependent on multiple factors. the first and foremost important factor is the quality of fodder given to the cow, what you call to the cow or buffalo, whatever. The second important dimension that you need to understand is the amount of supply you have, demand for your product that you have. Based on that, you will try to extract the milk from the cow, yes or no? Because in COVID times, what happened? The demand fell, so the supply also had to be reduced. What these people did was, the quality of fodder being given to them and the quality of food intake or the health conditions were not taken care of well, because they could not generate money. And the calves that were born during this period, if you know, the gestation period after the calf is born, it takes 18 to 24 months for the calf to start again yielding the milk. So now the calves that were born during the COVID have attained their what you call stage in life where they start giving milk, because these calves were not fed well during COVID season. Their supply, the quantity of their milk yielding came down drastically. So because of this, a natural supply crunch came. When the demand rose, the supply did not rise as per the demand. That is the reason why suddenly the price of milks have gone up. Try to understand simply, during COVID, the cows or the buffaloes were not fed well, and whichever calves were born during that period, they were not given good food to eat. So their growth got restrained. Because their growth got restrained, their ability to yield milk also got negatively affected. Now that the demand has come back, but because these are the cows which were born during that period in their prime age of giving milk, they have come to the market, their capability to supply the milk did not match with the demand. So that is the reason why when the demand rose, the supply did not rise, or the supply still was not sufficient, the prices automatically go. Because when there is demand, if there is no supply, what will happen to price? During COVID, the dairies were giving the farmers 18 rupees, 19 rupees per liter of milk deposited with the dairy farm. Today, the dairy farms are ready to give 38, 40 rupees per liter to the farmer, but there is no milk supply, because the calves' health was not taken care of during the COVID pandemic. So it is said that it will take maybe another 18 to 24 months for the prices to get stabilized. So just imagine how this is linked with this and how it is linked with this. ऐसे सवाल इंटरव्यू में पूछे जाते हैं. These kind of questions are generally asked in interview to confuse you. ठीक है? So try to understand all these factors are linked with each other. ठीक है? This is one important factor. If in the option prelims में देगा, the cause for the rise of supply of the cost of the milk or the price of the milk, if one of the options is COVID pandemic, then that is also a correct option. You have to choose that option also. It throws light on certain other dimensions also. Please read through the article. See, I am time and again saying, if I am what you call posting an article, I am reading through it. If I am thinking that article is good or important from the UPSC perspective, then only I am posting that article. I am not randomly posting that article. Please try to understand. I am again and saying, around we are reaching probably 1000 articles I have sent by now, 1000 articles. By the time it will be May, I am sure I will send close to 2000, 2500 articles. Even if you scroll through them, all those 2000, 2500 articles, I am sure 18 to 20 questions you will get straight away from those articles only. So please read those articles, very, very important. Okay? Now, there is one more article in this only. The article, yeah.
Is it also because the levy of GST 5%?
No, because see, अगर मान लो तुम्हारा दूध का the cost of your milk was say 50 rupees a liter, right? 50 rupees a liter. Now you have levied 5%, what you call tax, 2.5, 5% is 2.5. So it should have become 52.5, but the rate is 64. though it could be incremental because of the levy of GST, but it is not because of GST alone. It is primarily because of the inability of the cows to supply that, and there is lot of divergence in the capacity of the cows and the buffaloes of North India and South India. This dimension also you should understand, because there are certain categories of breeds who have the capacity to give certain amount of milk in certain conditions, health conditions, fodder conditions, all those things. Those differences also you should know. I am expecting a very good article on this dimension in the economic survey. Let's wait and watch. Matter of 2-3 days only. 1st of February generally the survey comes. We will have special classes on the economic survey also. Okay? So try to understand why these things are happening. Okay? This is one important dimension. One more article, interior of the earth. Nikalo. There is an article on the interior of the earth. Small articles, we will try to finish it off first. Or what is the article talking about? Interior of the earth. The earth has how many layers? How many layers the earth has? कौन बोलेगा? Gautami? कहाँ है? Missing? Okay. हाँ. Vaishali, earth has how many layers? Pawan. The earth has 3 layers. The uppermost layer is called the crust. Underneath that is the mantle, and there is the core. In the core there is something known as outer core, and there is something known as, I will ask the question, जिससे पूछूंगा वही जवाब दे. What is the state of the inner core, solid or liquid? Kaumudi. What is the state of inner core? Kaumudi. Liquid. What is the state of inner core? Shiva. And what is the state of outer core? And what is the state of mantle? कौन बोला रहा liquid? If the mantle is liquid, your earth will go down, your crust will go down, we all will go and swim there. What is the state of mantle? What is the major composition of mantle? पूरा ज्योग्राफी के क्लास खत्म हो गया. Open the article. What is the major composition of the mantle? Mantle के सामने क्या लिखा है देखो. What is the major composition of the mantle? 2 items. कौन बताएगा? दिया है कहीं? नहीं दिया? Why? Ask them. What are the 2 important what you call elements in the mantle? Graphite. Graphite is there. Granite is there. And मुश्किल है यार तुम लोगों का. बनो. Are you aware of all the layers, intervening names given to all the layers? There are total 9 or 11 if I remember it correctly. Discontinuities. There are 9 or 11 discontinuities from the upper crust till the inner core of the earth. You should know which area is called what discontinuity. Please make a note. Very very important. Prelims में ऐसे ही सवाल आते हैं. Take out the atlas. Take out the atlas. Now what it is saying is, say for example, if this is the earth, if this is the mantle, and if this is the core, and if this is inner core which is solid state, and if this is liquid state, the article is about the rotation of inner core, and it is said that over a period of time the speed of rotation of inner core, the speed of rotation of inner core is slowing down. Very very important. What is the article saying? The findings. The inner core started slightly faster than the rest of the planet in the earlier 1970s in the findings of the report, but it had been slowing down before coming in sync with the Earth's rotation around 2009. So in 1970, when this was for the first time being observed, the rotation of the inner core is what you call faster than the rotation of the Earth. Now the question is, what is the speed of the rotation of the Earth? बोला सर आप सवाल पूछना बंद नहीं करोगे और हम पढ़ाई करना शुरू नहीं करेंगे. So try to make a comparison. If it was faster than the rotation of the Earth in 2009, what it became? It came in sync. So it means in 39 years it came in sync. Observation, our observation. But from 39 years, 2009 and 2023, so around how many years? 12 years. Now it is now rotating slower than the rotation of the Earth. Now what it continues to say? There has been a negative trend, meaning inner core is now rotating slower than the surface. Next change may occur in the mid 2040s. So that is the reason why he is trying to add another 12 plus years and saying by maybe mid 2040s another change may occur. But the beauty is he is not giving any reasons for it. He is not able to find out the reasons for this rotation of the Earth, the inner core getting slower when compared to the rotation of the Earth. What it says? The study can motivate some researchers to build and test models which treat the whole Earth as an integrated dynamic system. So it means to say that it can be used as a model in when, because what is happening till now, we were, see, it means this is rotating faster now, yes or no? This is rotating faster now and this is rotating slower. There is no correlation as of now. It means that there is no correlation between the rotation of the Earth and the rotation of the inner core. It is rotating because this is all liquid, this is all liquid. That is the reason why it is rotating inside the inner core. What are the factors that are leading to the slowdown of the inner core? They have not been able to find out. And how it is going to affect the atmosphere or the certain dimensions of functioning of the Earth, the mantle and the crust, they are not able to find out. But one thing that you need to understand, that the rotation of the inner core is steadily reducing. That is one dimension that you need to know. Please make a note of that. Okay. Next, there is one more article. The small articles I am trying to complete first. So please make a note. Yeah, T1 settlement system, the T plus 1 settlement system, the T plus 1 settlement system. You can go and get the handout from the second floor, they will give you. The T plus 1 settlement. Anybody, what is this talking about? The T plus 1 settlement. The amount of time it takes to convert the sale of share into cash or purchase of share getting reflected in your account. Please trying to understand this, very very important. See, achieving T plus 1 is the one of the what you call important things that has happened now. When I was a student like you, when I was doing my intermediate, that was the time when I, for the first time, I got exposure to share market. It used to take 1 week, 7 working days for the transaction to get effected, and the best part was there was no demat account that time. What is a demat account? What is a demat account, Supriya? What is a demat account? Lavanya. What it is trying to dematerialize? When I purchased State Bank of India shares, the State Bank of India earlier used to hand over a document on which it was written that this is number of shares that you have purchased of State Bank of India at so and so rate. So this was given in a material form, a document to support your purchase or sale of shares, right? Now it is not documentary exchange that is happening, everything is happening through what you call an account, which is called a demat account, and this account is linked to your main account through which you want the money to be transacted, right? What happens is at regular intervals you keep transferring your money from main account to demat account. The share transaction can happen only after you have transferred the money from your main account to demat account. Automatic withdrawal at the time of purchase from main account to demat account does not happen. And please make a box, rules and regulations for the transfer of money from main account to demat account. New rules have come, certain things that they have to do. Bank account, that's what. Try to understand, especially the freshers. It is a little tricky topic. Try to understand. Vaishali, नहीं समझ में आ रहा है? This is your savings account. Savings accounts के साथ you will also open a demat account. The famous demat account holders today are HDFC is there, SBI is there, Zerodha is there, ICICI is there, many of them. So you open a demat account which is linked to your main account. So whenever you have to do some transactions in shares and all, you cannot use your main account. You have to perforce transfer some funds from main account to demat account, and from that demat account you will engage in trade, and the demat account holder will charge you some commission. Basically for that purpose only he is giving you those services of buying and selling shares for you, right? So now when the amount is in demat account, whenever you are purchasing a share today, once you purchase a share, the time you initiate the transaction and the time those shares sale or purchase is reflected in your demat account is being done in T+1. So the day when you do your trade plus 1 day is the amount of time that is being taken for reflecting your sale or purchase in your account. If you have sold the share, if you have, say for example, you were holding 100 shares of SBI, each share was at the rate of 10 rupees, for example, the market value. The moment you sell, it means your account should get credited with 1000 rupees, right? And your share balance should get reduced by 100, right? So the effect of this and the effect of the amount credited in your account, it will take 24 hours time. That is the article talking about. Doing this within 24 hours time is a big achievement, Why? Because earlier it used to take, as I told you, 7 working days of time. If it is happening within 1 day, what is the message loud and clear? That more number of transactions can be initiated. You can involve more and more in trade activities. If you are involving more in trade activities, the demat account holder also gets benefited, because he will get more and more commission for executing your directions. So what is the article saying? Recently the new T+1 settlement cycle has come into effect. It means the trade related settlements must be done within a day or 24 hours of the completion of a transaction. For example, under T+1, if a customer bought shares on Wednesday, they would be credited to the customer's demat account on Thursday. As many as 256 large cap and top mid cap stocks, including Nifty and Sensex stocks, will come under the T+1 settlement. It means that this T+1 settlement is not applicable overall. This one important dimension that you need to understand. It is only to select large cap and mid cap stocks only. Stock is a share. Stock का मतलब share. Large cap, mid cap, कौन बताएगा? What is a large cap account and what is a mid cap account? If there are big players in the market like State Bank of India, like Reliance Power, like Jio, these are the entities which have a very big capital value in the market. So these are called large capital stocks. There are some mid capital stocks also, there are some low capital stocks also. So it is saying as many as 256 large cap and top mid cap stocks, including Nifty and Sensex. Nifty and Sensex are two two indices. One is in Delhi, the other is in Bombay. Which is in Delhi? हाँ, तो फिर correct करो ना. Both are in. That is the reason why Bombay is called the financial capital of our country. Both the stock exchanges are in Bombay only. Not one is in Delhi and the one is in Bombay. हर चीज के लिए सर मत हिलाया करो, ठीक है? Next, after China, India will become the second country in the world to start the trade plus one settlement cycle in top listed countries. This you underline. That's what I said. It is a big achievement for a country like India. See, for this to happen, you need to have a very strong ICT support. Without this, it is impossible. So it means that one of the contributing factor for this is the ICT technology that is happening in India. They are talking about what you call changes. Yeah, until 2001, stock markets had a weekly settlement system. The market then moved to a rolling settlement system of T+3 and then to T+2 in 2003 and finally in T+1 being implemented despite opposition from foreign investors. Now the problem, come to the next page where why it is being opposed. This dimension try to understand. There is opposition from the foreign investors. Why? Because if you are trading in international stocks, that is when the problem comes. And when the time zone convergences also change, the problem comes, because in your case it has to be settled in T+1, maybe they are still having T+2 or T+3. So what will happen if you are engaging in a sale or purchase of a share which is an outbound or inbound share? So that you need to understand. What they are saying, there are operational issues faced by foreign investors as they operate from different geography. Other issues are time zone differences, information flow processes and foreign exchange problems. These are some of the problems that are being quoted that will have problems with respect to the immediate exchanges within 24 hours time frame. So there are some bottlenecks. It will take time for it to actually happen on ground, especially when the foreign investors are indulging in the Indian market, because there are currency foreign exchange issues, because that takes time. Secondly, there is a time zone difference, that is also an important factor, right? And one more important is information flow process, because the information flow also takes certain time lag for things to get executed on ground. So all these factors might disturb the final execution of T+1 settlement. But for all practical purposes, India has already moved into T+1 settlement system. That you need to know, right? Now come to benefits and all. It says one is share delivery, operational efficiency will get increased. Yes, faster fund remittances will happen. The faster fund remittances happen means I get funds immediately to my account. I can immediately initiate another transaction. Safer markets. A T+1 settlement cycle not only reduces the time frame, but also reduces and frees up capital required to collateralize that risk. So that is very important. The moment your capital is released, you can immediately collateralize the risk. What is this? What is the meaning of this collateralization of the risk? What is the meaning of this collateralization of the risk? Collateralization of the risk. What do you understand by this word? Collateralization of the risk. Collateralization of the risk. I have given a hint. What is collateral?
Security against advance.
Huh?
The security which generally the security which bank demands for advancing the loan.
What is insurance doing for you? What is insurance doing for you? Taking risk from you, and it is what it is doing. It is collateralizing the risk for a premium. It is doing, that's all. So it is saying that if the settlements are having faster, the collateralization of the risk will also become faster and easier. easier. So that is the reason why people will try to go more and more for, are with me? Though I love this pin drop silence, but still make some noise. Huh? Pavan? కడుపులో పేగులు చేస్తున్నాయా? అర్థం కావట్లేదన్నా? అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఫుడ్ కూడా పెట్టమంటావు నన్నే? అంటే బిస్కెట్ వేయమంటావు ఇప్పుడు వాళ్ళని? వద్దు కదా? ఓకే, గుడ్. Systemic risk is there last law. What is that? What is the meaning of that? The last point. The capital blocked in the system to cover the risk of trades will get proportionately reduced with the number of outstanding unsettled trades at any given point of time. So what it is saying? Your systemic risk also reduced. See, what happens is, for example, if it is taking 7 days for settlement, it means all your transactions within 7 days block period are getting blocked. If in that 7 days time frame, if there is some systemic risk, the risk of all the transactions getting blocked is very high. Yes or no? But because now things are happening within 1 day, so that is how the systemic is risk, one after the other incidents opening up will become reduced because the time span is less. So that is how the systemic risk also reduces. This will come in the prelims with the T+1, the systemic risk has reduced or increased, tab samajh mein nahi aayega. So try to understand the meaning. And second is the safer markets, and most important one is the share delivery. These 2-3 things will be given. What are the effects of T+1 settlement? And most controversial would be the last point, that is systemic risk. So try to understand it correctly. With the trades getting settled within T+1, the systemic risk will reduce. Remember, this will come in the prelims with this was one of the options. So do not get confused. Chalo, come to the first article. The first article is on euthanasia. What is euthanasia? The right to die. Huh? Euthanasia is the right to die. First open the box where the right to die is there. We will try to understand what is right to life, then we will come to what is right to die, then we will talk about euthanasia. See, there was a question in front of the Supreme Court in 1994. The question was raised in one case called Rathinam versus Union of India. Rathinam versus Union of India. And what was the question? The question was very simple. In the meaning of right to life, does right to die also exist? In the broad meaning of, see, this is one of the broadest interpreted fundamental right. Yes or no? This is one of the broadest interpreted fundamental right. Right to life and personal liberty. 21? 31? Kitna hai? 21. Okay. So right to life and personal liberty. In this particular case, there was a person called Rathinam. He questioned the court, my right to life also includes my right to die also. Because if I do not have a right on myself to end my life, what is the meaning of life? So there was a big question. Why? Because this was also the time frame when the suicides were also increasing, especially the farmers and all. So the Supreme Court had a big question mark. If I give the right to die, साले सब मरना शुरू हो जाएंगे. And the second important dimension is, अब बेटा हरामी होगा. If the son is a bravo, I don't want to use that word. If the son is a bad chap, he will forcefully tell his father, you give a will that you want to die, and maybe probably kill him and take his What is son interested in father? Nothing but property. So that is when the question came in front of the Supreme Court, what should I do? Just see what the Supreme Court said. And there are other important state of Punjab. What was happening in Punjab in 96? Same problem. Huh? What was happening in Punjab in 96? Huh? Tell. Which movement? Khalistan movement. 96 तक Gill has killed everybody. He did not give them the choice of suicide. He killed everybody. ठीक है? Who is Gill? Your loka jnanam is bloody zero here. Who is Gill? KPS Gill, very firebrand IPS officer, who was a Sikh officer who was given the responsibility to control Khalistan movement. A Sikh officer given this responsibility, and he fulfilled this responsibility. Within 12 years he got the ASPA removed from Punjab. That's the kind of work he did. He literally butchered everybody. जिसको जो लगा उसको खालिस्तानी है सबको हटा दिया. So that's how within 12-13 years of insurgency in Punjab he could control that insurgency. KPS Gill, पढ़ो कभी इसके बारे में. KPS Gill involved even in the Blue Star operation. And one more, 1989 operation, same Golden Temple operation. Blue Star is 84, I am talking 89. One more operation done. Black Thunder, बॉक्स बनाओ, ब्लॉक्स बनाओ. गलती तुम्हारी नहीं है बेटा. घर में इनाडू पेपर कभी पढ़ा ही नहीं तुम लोगों ने, है ना? इनाडू पेपर यू नेवर रेड. ओनली स्वाति यू रेड. You never read Inadu. So this problem is not yours. Generational problem, right? Now, chalo, coming back to this right to die. What it is saying? Aruna Shanbag versus Union of India. Very, very important case law. Debate around euthanasia gathered steam in its present form in 2011. Who was Aruna Shanbag? She was a nurse and a victim of rape. Please read about this female. Those who have not read Aruna Shanbag, every Indian should read about her, because there are certain people whose conditions made the entire nation to cry with them, because the kind of assault, physical assault that she had to face as part of when she was a victim of rape, she was in vegetative state all her life after that. And the person who was responsible for her state, he walked free. You remember? He was released after he fulfilled his whatever punishment was given to him. So there was hue and cry in the society. The person who was responsible for the suffering of this lady for so many years, how can he walk free? So that is how, that was a time when that, life imprisonment ka bhi redefining was called for. That is the reason why if you see in the Western countries, the life imprisonment, they try to ensure that it is till the end of the life of that person. So that is why when they give the term of sentence in the Western judicial system, they will write 110 years. He would be already 40, 50, 30, 20 years. But they will give life imprisonment for 110 years to ensure that this idiot does not walk again in the society openly. That is the intention of giving that kind of punishments. It happens. People have given 200 years of punishment also. It is not that he will live for 200 years, but the court wants to make it very clear that the punishment, the offense that he has committed is so wild that he deserves 200 years of imprisonment in the jail. So these are some of the cases when this happened, that people vociferously called for extended period of life imprisonment, right? Make a box. What is the meaning of the word life imprisonment as per Indian judicial law? Premlata. How many years?
14 years.
Not 20.
14 years.
Somebody said 14. She is right, 20 years. It is 20 years. But research about it. You will get to know certain other things 20 साल है life imprisonment का, ठीक है. If the judgment does not specify life imprisonment how many years, it is construed to be 20 years of life imprisonment, right? Because certain conditions can be applied where you can be released earlier because of your what you call good behavior and other things, but the minimum term that has to be spent is 14 years. So that is how, but otherwise as per the classic definition it is 20 years. Okay? Now what it says, activist and author Pinky Virani petitioned the Supreme Court for permission to pull out the life support of Aruna Shanbhag, a nurse who had spent nearly 40 years in vegetative state after being raped in 1973. So for 40 years this female was on bed, dependent completely on the caretakers to take care of her health. So the petitioner called Pinky Virani petitioned the Supreme Court. She has suffered more than the incident of rape for 40 years. Let's remove the life support system that is supporting her life. The hospital did not charge a penny from that patient for 40 years. Just imagine, the kind of cost that the hospital would have incurred, but the hospital did not charge her a penny, and a bed was permanently there for her for 40 damn years. So it's a long time, right? Very heartbreaking incident. In the landmark case of Aruna Shanbhag in 2011, the Supreme Court of India recognized the concept of passive euthanasia. So it is using a word here for the first time called passive euthanasia. How many of you have seen this movie Hrithik Roshan ka? What is the name of the movie here? Huh? What is the name of the movie? Aishwarya Rai and Hrithik Roshan. Some I am also forgetting. It is about this concept only, euthanasia. He is a magician, no? Hrithik Roshan happens to be a magician. He performs a stunt wherein he dives into a water container with his head down from a height. It is a magic stunt. What his opponent or his competitor does is, there is a string of thread that is supporting him actually, which is invisible string of thread. When he is performing that stunt, he goes behind the stage and cuts that thread. So he falls upside down vertically in that water tank and sustains multiple injuries to the spine, leading him to be on the bed completely for the rest of his life. So his friend and lawyer is fighting for his euthanasia in the court of law. That's where very beautifully woven story. Do see, very touching story also. And Aishwarya's role is also important. And one more guy comes as a youngster who wants to learn the magic from him. And this guy, young guy who comes is none other than the son of the same magician who cut the string, to learn that magic from Hrithik Roshan. So very beautifully, Guzarish. Yeah, I got it right now. Guzarish is the name of the movie. The Guzarish is plea. What is the plea? The plea to die. That is the name. That's the name of the movie is called Guzarish. So it is talking about euthanasia. There are two types of euthanasias. One is passive euthanasia. The other is active euthanasia. What is passive euthanasia? If you are under certain life support, that is when by removing the life support, if it is felt that you will die, and if the court gives permission, what you have executed is called as passive euthanasia. In active euthanasia, you inject poison into the person for allowing him to die. It is called active euthanasia. We will talk about it. Now, the court held that in cases where a person is in a permanent vegetative state. What is the meaning of this word vegetative state? Vegetative state, Premlata. What is the meaning of vegetative state?
Where the brain and lungs will only alive but no movement.
Only the basic, see, when do you tell a person is alive? How do you define a person is dead? What is the defining to talk about that somebody is dead? See, if your heart stops, the what will happen? You are declared dead. You have heard this word, no? Brain dead. Heart is functioning, but the brain is. If somebody's brain has collapsed, if I put fire on the body, he will not, because the brain is supposed to send a signal, jal raha hai beku hata le. But the moment brain is stopped functioning, he will not feel any senses. All these pain senses are gone because the brain has stopped functioning. So when you declare a person to be dead, when the brain is dead, when the heart is dead. No, not brain dead. It is the functioning of the heart, because the retrieval of the functioning of heart, you have only certain amount of time. The retrieval for the beating of the heart, in some movies it has been shown, no, Rajnikant's movies. Shivaji movie. Instantly if you do CPR, there is a chances, it is not guaranteed, there is a chances that the heart can start again pumping, the person can come back to life, right? So that is the reason why the non-functioning of the heart is generally taken as the reference point of declaring somebody as dead. But if it is only brain dead, see, you would see lot of people on ventilators, support for a long period of time. For them, the heart is functioning fine, but the other body parts are not functioning. That is the reason why they are trying to give the ventilator support to that body to survive. The moment ventilator is removed, he will collapse. And but what is the reference point of declaring death? Again, it is the heart. But when you say that somebody is in vegetative state, this is what is not functioning properly for whatever reasons. The reasons could be an accident, reason could be a victim of rape. And when you say vegetative state, the chances of the retrieval of the person being a normal person are more or less zero. So if a person is in that vegetative state, you have to understand the meaning of the term vegetative state. What the court said? The court held that in cases where a person is in a, the underlining word is permanent vegetative state, not temporary vegetative state, permanent vegetative state, and there is no hope of recovery. Who has to justify this? A team of doctors, not one doctor, and it cannot be a private doctor. It has to be a government registered team of doctors. What they should do? The withdrawal of the life systems would not amount to murder. Very important. He is linking with one dimension of, if they do not follow all these conditions before withdrawing the life support, that act of the government or the hospital will be considered to be an act of murder. So that is the reason why the hospitals are also hesitant to remove the life support system, because they have to justify, one, that he is in a permanent state of vegetativeness, second, there is no scope of recovery. These two things have to be deliberately specified in the findings by the committee of doctors appointed by the Supreme Court. Very important. So this you need to understand, and in consultation with the Medical Council of India. ये सारी चीजें पता होनी चाहिए, ठीक है? In consultation with the, see, giving euthanasia permission to somebody is not a joke. It takes years to get that application finally approved by the court or the hospital. It takes, पहले तो डॉक्टर ही नहीं लिखेगा. The committee will be hesitant to write, because they have to write there is no hope of recovery. Because what happens is, they see other dimensions also. What is the response of the family members? Are they trying to revive him or not? Are they money minded? Or what is the amount of money this guy is holding who is on the deathbed? All these factors are taken into consideration at the time of giving these decisions. Though it is said no hope of recovery and all, but the doctors take all these sideline matters also into consideration when they give their opinion. Okay? Now come to the article. What is the article saying? Recently the Honorable Supreme Court agreed to ease the procedure for passive euthanasia. Easing the procedure for passive euthanasia. A 5-judge constitution bench. What is a constitution bench? Any bench where there are minimum 5 judges sitting is called a constitutional bench, right? Headed by Justice so and so agrees to significantly easing the procedure for passive euthanasia in the country. So it means that as per the new guidelines, the document will now be signed by the executor of the living will. The executor of the living will, the person who is lying on the bed happily, executor, he is called the executor of, please these words are very very important, executor of the living will in the presence of 2 attesting officers, 2 attesting witnesses, preferably independent and attested before a notary or a gazetted officer. So he, executor, in the presence of 2 witnesses, and after this it has to be either notarized or it has to be countersigned by a gazetted officer. Believe me, nobody will dare to do this. तुम application लेके north से south तक कहीं भी जाओ, nobody will sign it. That's the biggest challenge here. This guy will sign it for money and he will take huge amount of money for signing. He will definitely not sign it. Something going wrong, उसकी नौकरी चली जाएगी. So he will never sign it. That's the reason why the procedure of getting it is very very difficult, right? That is why the government is, Supreme Court is talking about easing the norms. What it says? The bench said that the witnesses and the notary shall record their satisfaction that the document has been executed voluntarily and without any coercion or inducement or compulsion, and with a full understanding of all the relevant information and consequences. It means that these people should have complete understanding of the case, should have complete knowledge of the entire dimensions related to the case before they actually sign it. And one thing they have to be ensuring that the executor of the will is not under any compulsion or coercion or very important. So these things have to be taken care of, right? See, earlier view, what was, go to the changes brought in the first living will. Earlier what was there? It was necessary that a judicial magistrate attest or countersign a living will, very difficult to get. Then access to the living will was kept in the custody of the district court. What it is saying now? The living will, a part of national health record which can be accessed by the hospitals. So this is about the present condition. Third, primary board to examine the patient conditions. Earlier, primary board of doctors needs at least 4 experts from general medicine, cardiology, neurology, nephrology, psychiatry or oncology with overall standing of at least 20 years before. Now 3 doctors including the treating physician and 2 other doctors with 5 years of experience in the specialty will comprise the primary board of doctors. So understanding the composition, they have reduced the what you call members of this to ease the process. Time taken to decide. Earlier the 2000 judgment did not specify any outer limit on withdrawal of treatment, but primary secondary board to decide within 48 hours on withdrawal of further treatment. Withdrawal of further treatment means passive euthanasia, not active euthanasia. Active euthanasia is still not permissible in India. Please make a note of that. Make a note of countries in Asia where active euthanasia is permissible. In Asia, don't need to go for the worldwide because many countries are there. But try to find out in Asia how many countries have legalized the active euthanasia. And secondary board, the district collector had to constitute the secondary board of medical experts earlier. Now the hospital must immediately constitute a secondary board of medical expert. So that is how the entire process has now been eased out, right? So this is the important dimension related to the euthanasia problem, right? Try to understand the difference between this is all jargon, nothing else. Now very important, one statement before what is euthanasia, one statement on Law Commission of India. Previously, the Law Commission of India in its 196th report in 2006 has said that active euthanasia should be decriminalized but not matlab case to case basis, from case to case basis, depending on the case to case basis. See, if somebody is with 80% burns, the amount of pain that person has to go through to live is much more troublesome than the death itself, right? Probably they are trying to see these what you call situations where they are trying to say active euthanasia can be given. See, if life becomes more painful than death, then the obvious choice should be death. Then the obvious choice, because life itself is painful. Otherwise also life itself is painful, right? That's why we say no, जिंदगी से बड़ी सजा ही नहीं. It means there is no bigger punishment than life. It is true. You are all taking punishment, no? Sitting in my class, and I am undergoing bigger punishment. I am taking your class. So we all are under punishment only. And the best part, the next part of the line is, क्या जुल्म है पता ही नहीं. What mistake we have committed that we are facing this life, we do not know. That's the beauty. So it is, these are all philosophical thoughts. Ethics के लिए संभाल के रखो. चलो, move ahead. Next, rest is all self understood. Come to the next article. T+1 we have covered. T+1 we have covered. Next is protection for disclosure of journalistic sources. Very, very important dimension. Protection for disclosure of journalistic sources. What it is saying? The Supreme Court recently said that the journalists are not exempted from disclosing. See, try to understand, listen to the article, simple article, but try to understand. See, there is something known as, try to understand this, investigative. It means before a news is printed or aired on a television, it is understood that that particular reporting agency will carry out basic investigation of that particular incident. So it means that journalism has a specific dimension of investigation before publishing. If I walk up to the INADU office and say, tomorrow morning the Prime Minister is going to say that 2000 rupees note will get demonetized, will he print that news? No. He will try to what you call confirm the authenticity of or the veracity of the information that I am giving him. So when he is trying to confirm, what is he trying to do? Investigate about that particular what you call incident or news article, whatever it is. Now, what used to happen was, these journalists who are carrying out this investigation, they were not disclosing the sources to the law enforcement agencies. Disclosing the sources to the law enforcement agencies. And the law enforcement agencies were troubled. If you do not tell us who told you, how I can catch it? So earlier, these people were skipping the disclosure norms. So now the Supreme Court said, अगर तुमने खबर छापी है, If you have printed a news or aired a news in the channel, you are duty bound to disclose the source of your information if it is being sought by the law enforcement agencies. Very important. You cannot say मेरा source है, I will not tell you the source. जूता मारेगा वो, ठीक है? तो ताला लग जाएगा तुम्हारा न्यूज़ चैनल में या अखबार में, ठीक है? So try to understand. The CBI had sought to close its investigation on how certain news channels and a newspaper had aired and published reports on a particular incident. The CBI argued that the document used by the news channels were forged. This is very, very important, because what these people are doing is, for the purpose of increasing their TRP, they are forging documents. So this has to be understood. So here the intention is to bring a check on. It has very big effect, let me tell you. News channel can make somebody or break somebody. So that is how, the moment they are trying to break somebody, they become responsible for disclosing the source. तो पुलिस वाला क्या करेगा, सोर्स को बुलाएगा अपने पास, एक बिरयानी देगा, एक थम्स अप देगा, फिर उससे पूछेगा विच मूवी, नाना पाटेकर्स मूवी, old movie, not your time, you are not to be blamed for not knowing. There is one journalist, the heroine, the protagonist of the plot, she is behind Nana Patekar, who is a policeman and who is known to be rash and brash. Without anything, he will keep beating people around. So he calls one pickpocketer and tries to get some information from him. This lady is sitting there. So first he gives biryani to him, he gives thumbs up to him, he very politely asks, tell me who told you this, or where is that particular bag. He does not disclose. Then he gives one tight slap. He immediately rattles down everything what has happened from starting till the end. So he says that in my profession, if I am soft, you cannot function. You can write hell lot of things about me in your newspaper. Also right now that I beat him in front of you, I don't care. That's the reason why he is trying to showcase there what, how the news is coming through a particular source. But now the government says that you have to disclose the source also. ठीक है? Very important. Next. Come again.
Is this against the thought of whistleblower protection?
Not exactly. See now what's if you read this line, investigative agencies can issue notice to anyone, including journalists, to provide information. So what they are trying to do is, see, now there is a complete delinking of news and investigation by the law enforcement agencies. See, the law enforcement agencies at max can quote in their investigation charge sheet, a news appeared in Inadu newspaper on so and so date, page number so and so, column so and so, that this smuggling has happened or this particular incident has happened. He cannot go beyond there. It means the journalism ka investigation and the law enforcement ka investigation is not syncing, merging, converging nowhere. So he is going parallelly and he is going parallelly. Now because the investigation agency can ask him, who gave you this information, immediately that person can be summoned to the police station and asked about the veracity of the information. So it is trying to establish convergence between journalism and investigation. It is two-edged sword. One, faster case solving, and second is dissenting the newspapers from giving false news. So it is satisfying both the ends. If it is the right news, I will investigate immediately. If it is a wrong news, the journalist will also get a tight slap from the law enforcement agency. So it is a double-edged sword for the governance. So it is one of the important methods that has been executed in the recent past in ensuring effective and time-bound investigation. So this is one of the points that you need to write. ठीक है? चलो. Arey, if you have acted as a source, see, you have to understand, if you have acted as a source, what is the intention of giving that information? You want some mistake to be corrected. Will the newspaper correct that in particular act? Who is responsible for justice delivery? Come again. See, the responsibility to keep that as secret is the responsibility of investigation agency. It is not that next day in the newspaper they will write that he is the source. No, but they should know where the information has come from. See, what is the end of justice? Whatever he has whistleblowed, that person should get punishment. This guy said that some wrong has been done, but did they catch him? Will the INADU has the power to go to his house and apprehend him and keep in their police custody? No. Who has to go? Law enforcement. Till such time he does not know who has told you, how can he go to the person who has done it? So it is an intention to converge both journalism and investigation. That you need to understand. And as regards maintaining the secrecy of the source, it is the responsibility of the law enforcement agency. So that is maintained. That is maintained. But he cannot say that I have to maintain secrecy, I will not disclose the source. It is understood. It is logical also at the end of the day. That's all. So the secrecy of the whistleblower has to be maintained by the law enforcement agency also. And very important, the source who has confirmed it to the newspaper agency, what if he does not confirm it to law enforcement agency? You cannot force him. Who is responsible for the wrong information because he told wrong to the newspaper but right to the law enforcement agency? Who is responsible for correcting that news? The newspaper is responsible. It has to file something known as rebuttal. Please Google about this word, rebuttal. It has to file something known as rebuttal. Okay, the news on so and so date that was published on so and so issue, the following corrections may be please made. This is something known as rebuttal. But the problem is that news would have been given in the first page, front page, full blown up. But the rebuttal comes in fourth page, fifth page, corner mein niche se. So that is how they play with the, because the newspaper is more worried about the TRP only. Again, the newspaper is also worried about the TRP only. So these things you need to understand very minutely. Okay? Yeah. Please read about the jurisdiction of the Press Council of India. Come to that chapter, to that paragraph. It is also talking about the role of the Press Council of India. It says the PCI Act 78, please underline this year 1978. The PCI has the powers of a civil court to deal with complaints when a newspaper has offended against the standards of journalist ethics or public taste, or that an editor or working journalist has committed any unprofessional misconduct. So if this is there, the responsibility to punish that newspaper or the journalist or the editor is the responsibility of the Press Council of India. Very, very important. Okay? And the global position also they are talking about. United Kingdom, the Contempt of Courts Act 1981 creates a presumption in favor of journalists who want to protect the identity of their sources. However, that right is subject to certain conditions in the interest of justice. If the justice has to be upheld, he does not have the right to privacy. If justice is not affected, only certain information is not being disclosed, then he has the right to not give the source name, right? Otherwise, he is duty bound to give the source name. But in India, it is very clear that he has to give. Certain other European conventions and all given, not important. Come to France and Germany. In France and Germany too, journalists can refuse to disclose sources in an info. See, try to understand one thing. Who are these sources who are comfortable in giving information to journalists but not comfortable in giving information to? Now the question is, why?
They are afraid of the legal proceedings which might happen.
Huh?
Monetary benefits.
Not all monetary benefits. Not everybody is like me. Huh? Not anonymity actually.
They don't want to get exposed. They don't want to get exposed.
Something with police. Problem क्या है? Police वाला will trouble you more than the accused. That's the problem. The biggest problem, believe me. He will call you 100 times to the police station at odd hours. You are busy writing UPSC examination. You discreetly carried phone to the examination hall. The phone rings. Hello, come to police station. So the examination investigator will say, one more charge also you add up. That he or she discreetly carried the mobile phone to the examination hall. So you have to understand the problem of getting embroiled in police investigation is the biggest factor which is responsible for people having confidence here, but not here, nothing else. He will not ask 100 questions. He will only confirm whether the news is right or not. He will prove to him that the news is right. He will not ask him to come to the channel office or the newspaper office 100 times in a day. He will not tell that. He is only interested. He is also interested in, understand this, he is also interested in justice. In some cases maybe money, I am not ruling out, but he is interested in justice only. Here by whistle blowing it, he is getting justice, but here he may get justice at the cost of his own peace of mind. That is the reason why he does not want to diverge. Now because the law has come, if you do not tell, he will tell who you are. So again he will come, good morning sir. So this, what will happen? What is the net effect? What is the net effect? What is the net effect? The net effect is, what is the net effect? He will stop disclosing to, what is the net effect? Justice delayed is justice denied. Chalo, come to the next article. INS Wazir VAGIR. I was to give a news article on this, I could not. ETV. Recently the Indian Navy commissioned the 5th diesel electric Kalwari class submarine called Wazir. सबसे पहले ब्रैकेट बनाओ, classification of submarines in India. Classification of submarines in India. 2 projects I have written here, project 75, project 75I, very important. There is one more project of Indian Navy, anybody? है ना, P75I, I have told this. What is the difference between P75 and P75I? I is India, indigenous dimension. There is one more project of Indian Navy, project 15B. Please make a note, Google about it. Project 15B, it is also related to Indian Navy only, right? Now, what it is saying, project 75 involves the acquisition of 6 ships of the Kalwari class diesel electric attack submarines. The submarines have been ordered by the Indian MOD for the Navy. The P75 Kalwari class diesel electric submarines are based on Scorpion class submarines, which were designed by French naval shipbuilding firm Naval Group, formerly known as DCNS, in partnership with Spanish shipbuilding firm called Navantia. Please make a note of these words, very, very important. Your Kalwari submarine, the name Kalwari is Indian word, but it is basically a Scorpion class submarine of France and Spain. Right? So it is basically a Scorpion class submarine. In India you are calling it Kalavari class submarine. So it is being produced under the project called Project 75. So now what it is said, there are 6 Scorpion class submarines under Project 75. Which are those? Kalavari, commissioned in 2017. The Khanderi, the Karanj, INS Vela, Wazir and Wakshir. These are the 6 important, you have to by heart all these. Submarine class, but in India called Kalavari. Okay. So the one important thing is INS Wazir, if you see, it was launched in 2020 but commissioned in 2023, not 2. INS Wazir 2023. See, there is a difference between launching and commissioning. This you need to understand. Generally, when a submarine is launched, it has to undergo certain tests in operation. Only after the satisfaction of the performance of the submarine in operation, only after that it is given the status of getting commissioned. Many a times it happens that the launch happens, the commission does not happen. Maybe that particular product, military product especially, did not live up to the expectations of its performance. So that is when the launch will happen, but the commissioning may not happen. So this you need to understand. Okay? And related to Project 75I, it is basically the Project 75I class submarines or P75I for short are a planned class of diesel electric submarines which are to be built for the Indian Navy. The P75I class is a follow-on of the 75 class submarines of the Indian Navy, and very important, this project envisages the indigenous construction of submarines equipped with state-of-the-art independent propulsion system. See, propulsion system in submarines is very, very important. That's the reason why in the initial this thing also, what is the name given? Kalavari class diesel electric air independent propulsion system, because in a submarine, when a submarine goes underneath, the air is not available to that particular submarine. So that is how you need to build air independent propulsion system, which is not dependent on the air. You drive these motorcycles, no? Motorcycles or cars for that matter. How important is air? Any mechanical engineer? How important is air? Let the expert, you are also mechanical engineer. Let the Mercedes Benz बनाते बनाते रह गया वो, उससे पूछते हैं. हाँ. What is the importance of air? పర్లేదు తెలుగులో. How important is air for optimum combustion? Yes. Yes. Okay. The excess air is released from the exhaust. Good. So 4 years of engineering, he could tell about how the engine functions, right? See, try to understand. If you see these high-end vehicles, there would be some slots for air to enter, and those slots are leading to the engine. That you need to understand. The higher the capacity of the vehicle, you will see more air, what you call transferring zones in the initial part of the vehicle, so that when the vehicle travels faster, it needs more combustion to happen the engine. The diesel supply or the petrol supply can be regulated, but what about the air supply? So it has to have more vents for the air to enter, and combinedly with the diesel or the petrol, the final combustion to happen. So but in a submarine, because the submarine is inside the water, a propulsion system has to be designed which is independent of air, That is the reason why the cost of this kind of military equipment goes very high. Okay? Now, yeah, see, they are giving certain key points about Wazir, certain what you call capacities also they are talking about, capabilities they are talking about, please go through it. And one submarine, which is the last one, Wakshir, it has still not been commissioned. So out of the 6 submarine class, only 5 are commissioned as of now. The Wakshir is yet to be launched, not commissioning, it has not yet been launched also. That is one important point. Chalo, come to the next article. The forest and tree cover. What is the difference?
Density of the trees.
What is the difference between forest cover and tree cover? Environment, हाँ बोलो भाई. Foundation people. What is the difference forest cover and tree cover? Basic what you call normal language में बोलो. अच्छा, you tell me, is the tree cover more or the forest cover more? एक पिक्चर आई थी शाहरुख खान की, राम जाने. एक पिक्चर आई थी शाहरुख खान की, राम जाने. You've seen the movie? Heard? Rajkumar's choice of movies matches very closely with Rajkumar. You've seen the movie? What is the storyline? Madhuri Dixit. He misbehaves with her, Madhuri Dixit, and he becomes dangerously ill. She recovers him, then kills him. इसको तेलुगु में बोलते हैं पगा, प्रतीकार. ठीक है? UPSC will take that paga with you if you do not read the basic dimensions. Read the second paragraph. Difference between tree cover and forest cover. Now tell me the difference. Tree cover. So that is how, which will be more? Obviously the tree cover would be more. For something to be classified as forest cover, two important dimensions. One is 10% of density and please Google the difference between acre, hectare. तुम उसमें भी जूते खाओगे, मैं बता रहा हूँ. Google, please Google. ठीक है? See, we should not miss on the basic dimensions. ठीक है? UPSC में you are a district collector. If you do not know the difference between hectare and acre, गई भैंस पानी में. ठीक है? So you should learn all the. See, there is a purpose why the examination is structured like this. You have to understand that. If you do not understand the difference between cow and a buffalo, how you can become district collector? Right? Try to understand. You should be knowing all these things. ठीक है? चलो, leave it. I'll leave it there. I'll not go much deeper into it. चलो, what is the article saying? What is the news? India is lagging behind in the targets to increase the number and the quality of tree and forest cover plantation set in the National Mission for a Green India. Please, very important, Green India Mission, GIM, Green India Mission. नीचे दे रहा है. The Green India Mission is one of the 8 missions under the National Action Plan on Climate Change. One of the 8. Can anybody tell me the another 7? बनो. हाँ, बहुत सारा है. The 8. पवन की क्वेश्चन अर्थ में सावले. पवन, what are the 8 missions under the National Action Plan on Climate Change? What are the 8 missions under the National Action Plan on Climate Change? These are very, very important for prelims. You should be knowing it. The mentorship student should start rattling out these at least now. What it is aiming? It aiming at protecting, restoring and enhancing India's forest cover. The target under the mission is 10 million hectares on forest and non-forest lands for increasing the forest/tree cover and to improve the quality of existing forest. 10 million hectares, very, very important. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change supports the states and the union territories for carrying out afforestation activities through this centrally sponsored scheme. So the Green India Mission is a centrally sponsored scheme. What is the meaning? Both the center and the state partner in increasing the forest cover. Improving tree cover is critical to sequester carbon. What is carbon sequestration? Absorbing more carbon than release of carbon in the atmosphere, and bolster India's carbon stocks as part of its international commitments to mitigate greenhouse gases. Now what are India's commitments? उसका भी एक बॉक्स बनाओ. See, एक क्वेश्चन में environment, the beauty of environment is every line will have added boxes. Every line will have added boxes.
నాకు అదే అర్థం కాదు సార్.
Very good. చెప్పు.
ఎఫారెస్టేషన్ పేరుతో స్కీమ్స్ ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేసి చెట్లు నాటను మొక్కలు నాటను అంటారు. డెవలప్మెంట్ కట్టొస్తే అదే చెట్లు నరికేస్తారు ఎందుకని? అదే రోడ్ కన్స్ట్రక్షన్, రోడ్ వైడనింగ్ చేసేటప్పుడు కానీ ఎందుకు అది అవి పెద్ద పెద్ద చెట్లు కదా.
అంటే చెట్టు పై నుంచి వెళ్తే టైం ఎక్కువ పడుతుందని. I cannot leapfrog from tree to reach a place.
ఎఫారెస్టేషన్ పేరుతో మొక్కలు నాటుతారు.
రోడ్డు పైన నాటరు కదా.
కాదు సార్, వాళ్ళు నాటే మొక్కలు ఎన్ని గ్రామ్స్ ఆక్సిజన్ సప్లై చేస్తుంది? వాళ్ళు నరికేసి పెద్ద పెద్ద వృక్షాలు ఉంటాయి కదా, ఇట్లా మనం పట్టుకోవడానికి కూడా వీలు కాదు. అంత పెద్ద పెద్ద వృక్షాలు నరికేస్తే అవి కేజీల్లో టన్నుల్లో ఆక్సిజన్ సప్లై చేస్తుంది కదా. మరి డిఫరెన్స్ మ్యాచ్ ఎక్కడ ఉంది? వాళ్ళు ఎఫారెస్టేషన్ పేరుతో చేసే స్కీమ్స్కి, వీళ్ళు డెవలప్మెంట్ పేరుతో ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ చేసే డిస్ట్రక్షన్కి మ్యాచ్ ఎక్కడ ఉంది? అంటే డెవలప్మెంట్ ముఖ్యమా, ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ ముఖ్యమా అన్న పాయింట్కి.
He is initiating a debate now. నేను చెప్పొచ్చా? Can I talk? Thank you, Pawan. I will miss him after his foundation. That's the beauty.
వెళ్ళం సార్,
Hello కదా?
క్లియర్ చేసేంత వరకు మీ చెయ్యొద్దు సార్.
ఓకే, చెయ్యి వరకు ఓకే. See, there has always been a debate around development or environmental sustainability. Always been a debate, not now. This is a very old debate, thousands and hundreds and thousands of years of debate. See, you have to understand that there is something known as trickle down effect in economy. There is something known as trickle down effect. It is said that growth will result in, this is the trickle down theory. It says that if the growth happens, if the GDP increases, it will have a trickle down positive effect on people in the lower stratas of society. If I limit growth, your question should be growth versus environment protection, not development. Development is loosely used, but it is actually growth, right? So if it is growth versus environmental protection, if there is a country, Bhutan, it talks about happiness index. It does not want Indians, especially the Biharis, to come to Bhutan and spoil their environment. It is ready to forego the revenue loss through tourism, but it is happy. It is saying, I am happy. The difference between India and Bhutan is, Bhutan does not have regional power aspirations, but India has. And the amount of population what India has and what Bhutan has, there is no match. So I am forced in some ways to ensure that the trickle down effect is there. I am ready to compromise the loss to the environment to some extent. And it is not that I am just closing my eyes to the environment loss. I am trying to undo certain things by doing something elsewhere. So that is the reason why at one time I am not foregoing growth also, at the same time I am taking care of environment also. So both will go hand in hand. See, the tree capital of the world, who got the award? Hyderabad. Your Hyderabad got the award of Chandra. KCR spoke like anything as if he has planted all the trees. Okay. There are some trees which are older than him. So WhatsApp trolling was there. This tree was telling, "Beta, you played under my tree only." So you have to understand. So he claimed that we are doing so much. So it's not that we are only blindly cutting the trees and doing it. Yes, they are being cut. You are right. They are being cut, but the replication will happen. The replication will happen.
జపాన్ అండ్ యూఎస్ఏ కంట్రీస్ లో ఇట్లా డెవలప్మెంట్ కి గ్రోత్ కి ఏమైనా అడ్డు వచ్చిన పెద్ద పెద్ద వృక్షాలు ఉంటాయి కదా సార్, చెట్లు, వాటిని
మనం కూడా చేస్తున్నాం అమ్మా.
వేరులతో సహా తీసి డిస్ప్లేస్ చేస్తారు.
మనం కూడా చేస్తున్నాము. See, now that you spoke about this idiot. You spoke about this idiot. They too brought wood from rest of the world, especially they did not cut their trees, they cut our trees. మూర్ఖుడు వాడు జోడికెళ్ళు సరే చలే విల్ గో అహెడ్ I hope. Take. Next, Indian State of Forest Report 2021. This thick book. 2 to 3 questions. 100% in prelims 2023 will come. So, reading thoroughly the Indian State of Forest Report 2021 is very important. It says that as per the Indian State of Forest Report 21, forest and tree cover in the country increased. Forest and tree cover both have increased by so and so square kilometers since the last assessment in 2019. So this solves your problem, Pavan. More number of trees have been planted than the number of trees that have been cut. Okay? India's total forest and tree cover was 80 million hectares, which accounted for very, very important this percentage, 24.62% of the geographical area of the country. The report said 17 states and union territories had more than 33% of their area under the forest cover. More than 17 states. And Madhya Pradesh had the largest forest cover, followed by Arunachal, Chhattisgarh, Odisha and Maharashtra. Forest cover, it is talking from the perspective of area. From the perspective of area. The top 5 states in terms of forest cover as a percentage of their geographical area. When it is talking about percentage, it is Mizoram first, but it is talking about overall area, it is the Madhya Pradesh that is first, followed by Arunachal Pradesh. Okay? And issues associated with the forest, it is self-explanatory. Please make a note of government initiatives for the forest conservation. These 3: National Afforestation Program, very important, Environmental Protection Act, and this ST and other traditional forest dwellers Recognition of Forest Rights Act 2006. So these are some of the government initiatives that are being put in place to enhance the forest conservation. Please make a note of that, it is important. Okay? Next, come to the next article, manufactured sand. Manufactured sand, very important. It says that Coal India Limited, underline this entity, Coal India Limited is making headlines for its innovative solution to the sand shortage problem. The company is using crushed rock fines, the fine particle of the crushed rocks. This is that is also called the crusher dust. Sand from overburden of coal mines and soil removed during open cast coal mining to produce manufactured sand. Very, very important. The manufactured sand is basically used for yes, manufacture used for construction, activities, and this can be a huge market for India, especially to countries like Saudi Arabia. Today morning we spoke, Saudi Arabia is one country because the sand in Saudi Arabia is very fine sand. You cannot use that sand for construction, it is useless. So Saudi Arabia imports sand from as far as Australia also for construction activities. So this can be a good bet for India to export sand to a country like Saudi Arabia. What are the benefits? Cost effective, consistency, environmental benefits, because now the crusher dust or the what you call the open cast coal mining dust can be now fruitfully utilized for manufacturing sand. So it cannot be thrown in the open, it can be used for this. So that is how very important. Now come to what is the status of sand mining in India, very important. Sand is classified as a minor mineral under the Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Act 1957. Sand is a minor mineral, which are, make a list of which are other minor minerals have been classified. Please make a list of that. And administrative control of minor minerals vests with the, very important, not the central government but the state governments. Rivers and coastal areas are the main sources of sand, and the demand for it has increased significantly in the recent years due to the construction and infrastructural activities. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has issued Sustainable Sand Mining Management Guidelines 2016 to promote scientific sand mining and environmentally friendly management practices. Very important. 2-3 dimensions: manufactured sand, the Coal India is doing, taking the coal dust and manufacturing the manufactured sand, and sand happens to be a minor mineral and it is the exclusive right of the state government. And even today the rivers and the coastal areas are the main sources of sand in our country. So these are the 4-5 points important from manufactured sand. Okay? Now the next article is on Monument Mitra scheme. The next article is on Monument Mitra scheme, right? What it is saying? The private firms will soon be able to partner with whom? The Archaeological Survey of India for the upkeep of 1000 monuments under the Monument Mitra scheme. So now they are trying to take on board private players also in upkeeping the monuments, and they have identified 1000 monuments under the Monument Mitra scheme. Under the Monument Mitra scheme, revamped scheme would be based on the corporate social responsibility. Very important. I think I have wrote about what is a corporate social responsibility and model, and a new website having the names of all the heritage sites. Please Google what is a heritage site. I think in this article also I have given. Yeah, it is there. Come to the heritage site first, then we will go to the CSR. Heritage is deemed to mean those buildings, artifacts, structures, areas and precincts that are of historic, aesthetic, architectural, ecological or cultural significance. It must be recognized that the cultural landscape around a heritage site is critical for the interpretation of the site and its built heritage, and thus is very much its integral part. So please make a note, the cultural landscape around a heritage site is also integral part of the heritage. You cannot only tell a building is part of heritage and not the cultural society surrounding it. So the cultural society also surrounding a historic site also forms part of the heritage, and it deserves all the components. The three key concepts that can be considered to determine whether a property can be listed as a heritage site are its historic significance, historic integrity and historic context. These are the three key parameters that are taken into consideration, right? In India, the heritage comprises archaeological sites, remains and ruins. The primary custodian of the monuments and sites in the country is the Archaeological Survey of India, and their counterparts protect them, right? Now come to the corporate social responsibility. In India, the concept of CSR is governed by the clause 135 of the Companies Act 2013. Please underline clause 135 of the Companies Act 2013. What it says? India is the first country in the world to mandate CSR spending along with a framework to identify potential CSR activities. So India is first country in the world to identify or to mandate the CSR spending. The CSR provisions within the Act is applicable to companies with an annual turnover of 1000 crores and more and a net worth of rupees 500 crores and more, or a net profit of rupees 5 crore and more. If you are falling in any of these three categories, annual turnover of 1000 crores or more, annual turnover, or net worth of 500 crores or more. Net worth is What is the meaning of the word net worth? Your assets, net worth of 500 crores or more, or an annual net profit of 5 crores or more, the net profit. If you are falling in any of these, then you are responsible for executing your corporate social responsibilities. What it says? The Act encourages companies to spend 2% of their average net profit in the previous 3 years. Whatever is the average profit in the previous 3 years, out of that 2% will have to be spent. Even if you are in the 1000 crores, even if you are in the 500 crores or this dimension of 5 crores, last 3 years net average profit, 2% you have to spend on corporate social responsibilities. And they have listed also what are the activities that can be supported as part of corporate social responsibility. And in that they are talking about protection of monuments also can be one of the components related to corporate social responsibility. Okay? Come to one of the paragraphs, issues related to heritage management in India. Please make a note of this. This can be asked as a mains question also. Issues related to what you call heritage management in India. One is lack of centralized database for heritage sites, right? However, the National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage has invented around 60,000 buildings in around 150 cities, which is still only the tip on the iceberg. It means still lot of monuments and heritage sites have to be taken on board on this particular database. Heritage encroachments, this is one of the biggest problem, and there is no harmony between these structures and the architectural style of monuments or the surroundings, because the heritage encroachments have happened over a period of time. For instance, according to the CAG report 13, there was encroachment on the Taj Mahal's premises near Khan-e-Alam's Bagh. So one of the what you call gardens around Taj Mahal, there have been encroachment, people have encroached that particular land also. And lastly, the lack of human resource. These are the three important issues related to heritage management in India. And certain other government initiatives, Project Mausam, please read about this project, Project Mausam, and NMMA, National Mission on Monuments and Antiquities 2007. These are the two initiatives taken by the government for monument protection in India, apart from the Monument Mitra scheme that we are discussing now, right? Chalo, next article is on open market sale. Next article is on open market sale. What is the news on open market scale? The Food Corporation of India will offload. What is the meaning of offloading here? Sell. The meaning of offload here is selling. Offload here is selling. The meaning of offload here is to sell or to sell, right? What it is saying, 30 LMT is यही है, हाँ क्या है? పవన్ రాసుకున్నప్పుడు ఆలోచించి రాసుకో. ఓకే, హౌ మచ్ ఈజ్ ఎ మెట్రిక్? హౌ మచ్ ఈజ్ ఎ టన్? Then why are we writing metric tons? Why are we writing metric tons then? Million metric tons भी बोलते हैं ना. In there it is MMT, but we follow LMT. So this is not million, it is metric. Chalo, good. See, the Food Corporation of India will offload 30 lakh million tons metric tons wheat from the central pool stock to the market through various routes under the open market sale. ब्रैकेट में क्या लिखा है? Domestic. It means it can also do it for exports. It can also do it for exports. But there is a huge problem there, because the FCI produces at a particular rate, and if the open market sale happens foreign, domestic की जगह पे foreign, the US will call whom? The World Trade Organization, because these are the stock that India has purchased for a specific purpose. Now it cannot offload this in the international market. That is how when the call will go to WTO. Okay? Now don't go into this. What is an open market sale? FCI sells the surplus stock of wheat and rice at predetermined prices through e-auction in the open market from time to time to enhance the supply of food grains. Now it is talking about surplus stock. It is talking about surplus stock. Now who will determine what is the optimum stock? The article is saying surplus stock. Now the question is, who or what will determine what is the optimum stock that the FCI is supposed to hold? Ministry of?
Under which the PDS system works as.
So? Huh. You heard about this? Buffer stocking norms? Hello? You heard these buffer stocking norms? How many of you did not hear? Okay. Pujita? Bolo.
In cold storage is few amount of grains or stored by the government.
Cold storage क्यों? Wheat does not need cold storage.
In storages,
Okay, any normal storage. Okay. Make a box. What is the buffer stock of wheat? Firstly, what all products are kept as part of buffer stock? One. Second, what is the quantity? Wheat, rice, किसका ज़्यादा है? Wheat is more or rice is more? Buffer stocking. करो गूगल कर लेना, ठीक है? Please make a note. Which is more, wheat or rice? Now, see what happens. You have to understand. See, look. The buffer stocking norms, at times it so can happen, the FCI through the government can offload more and go below the buffer stocking norms also if it expects a very in near future purchase as part of buffer stocking. You getting my point? If the, say today is, what is the date? 30th of January. The harvest is going to happen in April. The harvest is of which crop in April? Which crop? Means which season crop? Rabi or Kharif? April Rabi. Kharif happens in July. But तुम लोगों का वर्टिकल नॉलेज इज पैथेटिक. आई एम टेलिंग यू. तुम लोगों को इंटरव्यू में फुटबॉल खेलेंगे 8 लोग मिलके. प्यून भी मारेगा. तेरे को इतना नहीं पता और यहाँ तक आ गया तू. इतने सालों से मैं प्यून कर रहा हूँ, मेरे को सब पता लग गया है. प्लीज प्लीज सी द प्रॉब्लम इज you people are not inquisitive to know. You have to see, you have chosen a profession where everybody expects you know everything. You understand this. From your driver to your cook to your cleaner, everybody expects that you know every damn thing. And if you do not know when is the kharif is harvested and the rabi is harvested, he will laugh at you. इसको किसने डिस्ट्रिक्ट कलेक्टर बनाया बोलेगा. So try to be alive to your surroundings. नहीं तो बहुत पछताओगे. I am telling you. See, even after getting into services also, life is very difficult. You have to prove yourself every single day, not to anybody, but to people under your command, that you deserve to be there. I am telling you, your group 1 officer will have your happiness. because he is connected to the roots. He knows every damn thing. He will not tell you. वो तेरे मजे लेगा. साहब कलेक्टर बन गए, इतना भी नहीं पता है कि अभी फसल कौन कैसी कटने वाली है. So you are expected to know and bullshit him. So first you should know, and then you should have the courage to. So understand. See, in bureaucracy, it is not. See, politicians understand. They know many things which you do not know, because they have fought battles at very different level. They know each and every damn thing about their area, constituency. You cannot see. I have seen this with Chandrababu Naidu. In one of the conferences after that hood happened, no? I was attending a disaster management conference in Visakhapatnam, huge international level conference. In one of the pre-conferences, not in the main conference, one district collector rattled something which was blatantly incorrect. You know what he said? Budindava నీకు ఏం మాట్లాడుతున్నాను? And that guy died of shame what he spoke. And this guy knows district data verbatim. The chief minister. He knows you are not your district, all the district data verbatim. And he said, if you cannot by heart your own district data, you are a misfit there. Budunda aniku, badibo. If a CM is telling you to get out of the conference hall, it is the end of your service there only. Full stop. उसके आगे कहीं नहीं जाएगा. एनिमल हस्बेंड्री उसमें ही घूमेगा लाइफ पर. सो यू हैव टू बी नोइंग एवरीथिंग. दैट्स द प्रॉब्लम. ठीक है. सो डेवलप दैट एटीट्यूड फ्रॉम राइट नाउ. इफ यू आर वांटिंग टू बिकम समथिंग इन ब्यूरोक्रेसी वट ఎవర్ లెవెల్ యూ షుడ్ నో థింగ్స్. ఓ నేను నేర్పిస్తానులే అని నీకు స్పెషల్గా నేర్పించి పంపిస్తా. నేను ఇట్లానే వదిలేస్తే నువ్వు యూ విల్ క్రియేట్ ట్రబుల్స్ ఇన్ ది సొసైటీ. సో నిన్ను నేర్పించే నైతిక బాధ్యత నాది. సో నేను నేర్పించే పంపిస్తా. సరేనా? గుడ్. నువ్వు పేషెన్స్గా నేర్చుకోకపోతే నేను కొడతా. డోంట్ వరీ. టుడే హీ టుక్ ఏ క్లాస్ ఆన్ సౌదీ అరేబియా. ఎక్సలెంట్ క్లాస్ హీ టుక్. సో ఐ వాస్ ఫీలింగ్ వెరీ హ్యాపీ త్రూఅవుట్ ద డే. I made a mention about you to madam also. Chalo, now come back to the article. Now, where was I? See, when we say if the harvest is expected in April, I have optimum buffer stock of wheat now, but I know, for example, in April I am going to have a bumper, because there are certain surveys which carry out and tell you the figures, what is the amount of stock that is going to come to FCI. Why? Because the MSP is there, the government will perforce buy that. So I have to offload more stock maybe in January to ensure that there is space for new stock to come into my godowns. So this is called preemptive offloading. The FCI at times does preemptive offloading. See, one website I would suggest to go is FCI's website. You see so many things they are doing, and there is so much of information in those websites. FCI के website को visit once, spend 2 hours on the website, you will get all the information, what it is doing, what is what, scheduling, everything, buffer stocking norms, everything is there. Try to understand why. See what happens if the stock goes below the buffer stocking. What happens? If the buffer stocking of the wheat is say 500 what you call lakh MT, 500 LMT. If it goes to 420, what will happen? No. How the price will get affected? Buffer stocking is थोड़ी ना price affect हो. हाँ. See, if the buffer stocking limit is 500, the present is 420, what will happen? Is my question. In the market, FCI will, the farmer knows that this is the state and he is in need of this 80 LMT. Now, if this is not the harvesting season, कहाँ से आएगा? अरे, if FCI comes to the market to buy, what will happen? Now understood what is the Problem. So he has to maintain optimum. He has to maintain that optimum, because if FCI comes to the market, then gone. The rates will go sky, because he is compelled to maintain buffer stocking. And the market knows FCI के पास stock नहीं है. 80 lakh metric tons FCI needs. See, 80 lakh metric. See, what is the biggest challenge of FCI? What is the biggest challenge of FCI? Because the production sites are skewed, but the FCI is present all over the country. The production sites are skewed means the cultivation is happening only at selective places in large numbers. In Rajasthan, the cultivation is more or less comparative to UP and Bihar, but the stocking has to be done. The transportation from say UP to Rajasthan is very costly, and transportation from here to, this is the biggest challenge of FCI. This is where the price goes up drastically. The cost of transportation and storage, these are the two most important problems of FCI always. Many a times you will see the news, in the news articles, you will see the wheat and all are stored in graveyards also. Heaps and heaps, railway stations, heaps and heaps, there is no place to put. He is compelled to buy compelled to buy, there is no place to keep, but there are no godowns. So he will put in railway station, bus stands, heaps and heaps of what you call stock. The irony is, people are still dying of hunger. The irony is, people are still dying of hunger, and the problem of plenty is there. Then what is the problem? There is a problem of plenty with FCI. There is a problem of death of hunger. India mein, what is the index? Global hunger index. What is India's position? 101? Whatever. Now, if that is the position, it means that despite having surplus food grains, why are people starving to death? You have to understand the chain. If you do not understand the chain, then no meaning. Okay? Try to listen to that. Okay? Please, FCI site visit once. Okay? That's one. About FCI, it is self-explanatory. We will not dwell into that. Next important article is Bharat OS, BHAR OS. Certain important what you call points, I will talk about it. Try to understand. One, it is an indigenous mobile banking, mobile operating system, right? It is an indigenous, means developed in India, indigenous mobile operating system like Android or iOS. It is focused on privacy. It is, they are saying focused on, we have to wait and watch. It is focused on privacy and security. I am sure not better than iOS as of now, because I have not seen it on ground. When I see it, I can tell you. But iOS is known for its privacy settings. Okay? Now, a mobile operating system is a software that is the core interface on a smartphone like Android by Google and iOS by the Apple, which helps smartphone users to interact with their device and access its features while ensuring safety, right? The Bharat OS is a contribution towards the idea of self-reliant India or Atmanirbhar Bharat by creating a secure OS environment for India-based users. Okay? Now, it is saying Bharat OS services are currently being provided to organizations that have stringent privacy and security requirements and whose users handle sensitive information that requires confidential communications on restricted apps on mobiles. Very, very important. So, presently the Bharat OS is only being given to organizations who are working in sensitive areas only. Such users require access to private cloud services through private 5G networks. So, the cloud services are also private and the networks are also private. What is a cloud service? The storage service. The storage service is nothing but your cloud service. Pawan, cloud service ante pine jodu. ఆ క్లౌడ్ కాదు. వాట్ ఈస్ ద క్లౌడ్ సర్వీస్? Who will explain what is a cloud? Storage capacity. See, your phone has a capacity, inbuilt capacity, we call it RAM. Your phone is a 128 GB, right? But for example, right, your phone is a 128 GB phone. You have data more than 128 GB. How will you store? Can you store? No. What happens? They will give you a cloud database where you can store over and about 128 GB in that cloud and use the space in that cloud for storing your data, and you have to pay rent to them on a monthly basis, not yearly basis. On a monthly basis you have to pay them money for using their space. The problem with cloud services is your data's privacy chances of getting compromised is there because it is their cloud. So that is the reason why they are talking about a word called private cloud services. It means only the secret people have access to that particular cloud. So that is the reason why it is called a private cloud service, right? And native over the air, Bharat OS would offer native over the air updates, meaning that security updates and the bug fixes will be automatically installed rather than users having to check for updates and implementing them on their own. Presently what is happening? The system will ask you update, you will say update later or update tonight or remind me later, but here it is default. That is the reason why it is called native over the air. It means automatically updates will get what you call installed. No default apps, like this was in news, no? The Google Android was also in news for this because it was forcing people to definitely download certain apps at the time of initial installation. But now in the Bharat OS there is no default apps. No default app setting means that users do not have to keep or use pre-installed apps in the mobile operating system. The no default app is key as many pre-installed apps that currently ship with other smartphones can slow down the device or take a toll on battery life by acting as bloatware. Very important bloatware, right? Now going with an NDA design for Bharat OS was intentional as it will let users have more control over the apps on their mobile based on the user's trust in the app and the kind of data they store on their phone. So no default apps is an important feature of your what you call Bharat OS. And the private app store services, it will use a system known as PaaS, private app store services, which will examine and curate the apps that are safe for the users. Very important. So the examination and curation of the app is happening before you actually install that particular app into your system. Okay? How it is different from Google? Bharat OS is based on Android openware open source project and is somewhat similar to Google Android. However, it does not come with preloaded with Google services like in regular Google Android phones. So Bharat OS users are free to download only those apps that they like or prefer rather than being forced to. So this is one of the basic features. And come to the next one. Android phone with stock OS usually have Chrome setup as default browser. Bharat OS makers are looking to partner with DuckDuckGo for its default browser. So it is a what you call as a browser. DuckDuckGo is one entity, is a privacy focused browser with several privacy centric features like anonymous browsing mode and privacy grade. So this is the one what you call browser with which the Bharat OS is trying to partner to be given as a default browser. Okay? Now National Tourism Day, very important. In why I have chosen this article particularly is you have to understand that in the next page if you come, India ranks 6th according to World Travel and Tourism Council in terms of travel and tourism total contribution to GDP. This is one important factor. Generally what it feels that we are very low in the contribution of the tourism to GDP. So I wanted you to know that the World Travel and Tourism Council, please Google about this institution, World Travel and Tourism Council. So India's rank is 6th. travel and tourism contributed 5.8% to GDP, and the sector created 32 million jobs, which is equivalent to 6.9% of the total jobs in 2021. Also, India is currently ranked 54th in World Economic Forum's Travel and Tourism Development Index 2021. And according to global data, international arrivals to countries forecast to reach 7.2 million and 8.6 million in 2023. It means the tourism sector is bound to grow. The tourism sector is bound to grow. And the various initiatives related to tourism, I have listed it. Please go through it once. Very, very important. And the last article is on Indianization of the judiciary. This is a long pending issue. Indianization of the judiciary. Now what are they saying? Recently, during the inauguration of so and so, the Chief Justice of India stated that the judgments delivered by the Supreme Court will now be translated into 4 languages: Hindi, Tamil, Gujarati and Odia. Hindi, Tamil, Gujarati and Odia, other than English. Obviously other than English. Hindi, Tamil, Gujarati and Odia. This initiative will result in the Indianization of the judiciary, which is the need of the hour. According to the CJI, courts need to be litigant centric, while simplification of justice delivery should be the pressing concern. The CJI specified that Indianization of the judiciary means the localization of the justice delivery system in the language that they understand. India has the oldest judiciary system in the world, dating back to 5000 years. In history, India has had a very effective, trustworthy and democratic judicial system, but most of the statements in judgments nowadays are taken from the Western jurisprudence. So this is one step towards Indianization. India's own system of delivery of justice is given much less recognition. Justice delivery system. Okay. Related recommendations, the Malimat committee, very important committee, 2000, it suggested that a schedule to the code be brought out in all regional languages so that the accused knows his or her rights as well as how to enforce them and whom to approach when there is a denial of those rights. And Law Commission also in 1958 in the All India Judicial Services was proposed by the 14th report of the Law Commission in 1958. In 87 recommended that India should have 50 judges per million population as against 10.5 judges then in the year 1987. Now what is the judges to population ratio today? Try to find out. With this I have completed the topics. Any doubts in whatever has been spoken till now, you can ask. Yeah.
Euthanasia topic.
In the euthanasia topic.
Court will give death sentence to some prison person.
What will give the?
Death sentence.
Okay. Okay. By hanging.
Few will choose to inject some injections to them.
No, but in India the general practice has been death by hanging. The judgment will specifically write death. The language is to be hanged until death. That is the language of the law. To be hanged.
They choose painless deaths.
Which is painless?
Injection
The injection.
Or to die.
I have not experienced it, so I cannot comment. See, the hanging is the most common method of capital executions in the world. It is said that it looks to be painful, but it is not. It looks to be painful, but it is not. Maybe what happens if the poison dose is less? What happened that idiot poison did not work upon? These challenges are there. It is technical problems are there. And some countries have this killing by shooting. What if he was hit with the bullet but he did not die? फिर से खड़ा करके फिर से मारोगे? So these problems are there, and it has been over a period of time accepted that death by hanging is the safest way of executing somebody. Even that fails.
Fate is more of the
even that fails if you are aware of it. It becomes a challenge. That's the reason why it is said hang until साले को लटका के रखो जब तक मरेगा नहीं. That's the point. Again another date will be selected, then proper. That is why the job of Jallad is also very important job he has. We are telling it very jokingly, but it is very difficult task to do, right? Chalo, anything else? Narcotic drug test, narcotic test. हाँ. DJ टिल्लू से inspired है question. हाँ हाँ. Can we say? No, no. The intention is not to kill him, no. Murder. सारे डॉक्टर जेल में जाएंगे. If in the narco test somebody dies, it amounts to murder. Hello. आई बात समझ में. That is why these doctors, no, these anesthetists, their role is very important in surgery. If something goes wrong because of anesthetist mistake, they are booked under medico legal act. They will go for a toss. सबसे ज़्यादा दुखदुखी एनेस्थेटिस्ट को ही होती है. ऑपरेशन करने वाले को कोई टेंशन नहीं होता है. The anesthetist is the one who is sweating badly. Why? Because some small mistake here and there, या तो वो ऑपरेशन के बीच में उठ के खड़ा हो जाएगा या फिर उठेगा ही नहीं. ठीक है. So they have to, because that's the reason why the BMI index and all are very important before surgery. What is the body weight, what is the age, what is the health condition, all these things are taken into consideration in deciding the amount of injection that is supposed to be given to you. मेरे जैसे जाके फुल भर के दे दिया तो उठेगा ही नहीं वो. So that's how it, this is a problem, because there is a high chances of you going into coma. If you do not get up, there are high chances of you going into coma. ठीक. हाँ.
Can government mandate companies to invest in particular CSR activity?
Yes. Yes. If your presence is in a particular area and if there is a particular issue, but the problem is, the point of concern is that particular activity has to be listed as a CSR activity. See, the company also will feel good, right? You try to understand, if there is a specific problem in an area where the company is majorly operating, and if there is an problem identified, if the government mandates that company to spend the money there, it can also feel, I can see the result of my CSR responsibility. So the company feel more connected to that particular issue. Maybe it will spend more than what is mandated. It has happened in the past. Tatas have done it. Tatas have done this in the past. So what the government mandated, they went beyond the CSR responsibility and invested. It creates that one-to-one relationship between the problem and the caretaker. So that is how it is mandated. It can be done. It has been done in the past. Not can, it has been done. It is good also. See, I am paying tax. I say I pay 5 lakhs tax. I paid 5 lakh tax last year. I do not know where that money has been used. But instead, if I am told, you take care of the education of these 10 kids, till such time you touch 5 lakhs, I will feel more happy. I know where my money is going. But when I am paying tax, I don't know where Modi is taking my money. That's all. It is, here it is individual, there it is company. That's the only difference. Yeah. What is the
Profit that we get in the short selling? Here, there is no
profit? ही profit है. You have sold it when the prices were very. See, in a short selling, you are selling when the price is high. Say 100 rupees, right? And you sold 1 lakh shares. So 5, 6, 7. How much? 1 crore. Right? Price is high. Suddenly the price came to 80. How much money you have? What will be the number of units that you can buy? More than 1 lakh? Hello, CSAT. More than 1 lakh? More than 1 lakh. So now it means that in future it may come here or maybe it may go beyond that. Then at the rate of 1.2 or 1.23 lakhs, what is the amount of money you will get? More than this? I am gaining only, no? It is reverse. That is a long position. You buy today and wait, kab paisa badega. It is, that's why it is called a long position. This is called a short position, because the possibility of the price fall is higher always, no? The possibility of price falling is higher. So you decide, I will sell it at 100, I will buy it at 80. Now the demat accounting has become so smart and fast, you just fix the day amounts and leave it. The moment it crosses 100, you say, the moment it crosses 110, sell it. Automatically it crosses 110.00001. Your stocks are sold without you even giving any instructions, because you already given the instruction. The next instruction is, the moment it falls below 80, 79.99999 it touches, immediately it buys. So your human interaction is reduced, because the chances of fluctuation in the lower dimension are more. That is how it is called short selling. Short selling is selling with the purpose of repurchase again immediately within a short span of time. So that is how these are all commands given in the system and left. You don't have to individually track, okay, abhi 100 hua, 102 hua, you don't have to do. All command you given, instructions you pass, automatically the execution of the instructions will happen. Provided there is money in your account, demat account, provided there is money in your account. Okay? Without money to mushkil. Euthanasia being given to? No, I don't think so. See, they also will have rights. See, depends. See, euthanasia is for whom we are saying? For people who are dangerously ill in a state of vegetative state without any hope of recovery, right? Now, when you talk about that, but say for example, if a person is undergoing punishment for a heinous crime, undergoing punishment of imprisonment of life for a heinous crime, and for some reasons he also went into that state, if I give him liberty from life, then what happened to justice? If after committing a heinous crime, if he is also in a vegetative state, the nature has already settled this course. Andhya, the nature has already settled this course. So now I also as a human want to take some revenge. So case to case basis it can be taken up, but will be very difficult to get. See, already people are not ready, the doctors are not ready to take a call. On prisoners to bilkul hi nahi lenge. That you need to understand, because no state of improvement is a big important catch there. Nobody wants to risk. Nobody wants to risk. And who will take a risk for a prisoner who is undergoing a sentence for a heinous crime? Nobody will show that what you call sympathy dimension to that individual. It may not come. It is not that it is denied. No, it is not denied, but it will not come. Reality, it will not come. No, people will not give. That's the logic. अच्छे लोगों को नहीं मिल रहा है. Euthanasia, getting the approval of passive euthanasia is not a joke, I am telling you. So much of, now that the things are getting streamlined, but on the face of it, it looks streamlined, but getting executed that on ground is very challenging. This we need to understand. Not that easy. Not that. Yeah.
Sir, Supreme Court's judgments ni 4 languages loki translate చేస్తున్నారు కదా. ఏ criteria మీద తీసుకున్నారు సార్? అంటే
Speaking, people, number of people speaking that language.
why not Telugu sir?
Maybe you are not in the list.
అమెరికాలో తెలుగు people
Make a box of language usage in India.
మీరే చెప్తారు.
Make, or you will get broke.
Okay.
What is the major languages that are, see, they also look into the percentage of litigations where they are happening, the clusters where the maximum litigations are happening, all these dimensions. See, it is not that Modi is from Gujarat, isliye Gujarati de diya. Don't think from that perspective. Even if they have done it, leave it, no. Why do you have to argue? When KCR becomes the prime minister, we'll get it. Right? Chalo. What else?
So why they second, like to get T+1 settlement, while other countries are not?
That's what I said. No, there are certain problems. See, you have to understand one dimension is, your stock market is not as vibrant as other country stock market. See, the entire world is investing in US. Means 191 countries are investing in the 192nd country. So many different time zones. So if you promise T plus, it is an achievement in some ways, but you have to understand, if there are more international players in your stock market, settling in one day becomes a big challenge, because the amount of transactions that are there. See, this is all what you need ICT, that's what I told. You need that amount of infrastructure to support that. You people, it is not so easy to, the brokerage charges will go high and people are not willing to spare that. So that is the reason why. So it is in some ways achievement also, in some ways not, don't go by the notion that if it is T day, it can be T day also, right? Why T plus 1? It can be T day also. But the point is, do you have the infrastructure to support that? So it is all about infrastructure, because we are still budding, our stock marketing is still a budding market. And once you come to that level, maybe sustaining T plus 1 will also become difficult for India. It may take time. Execution may take time, though you are telling T plus 1, but whether it is happening or not, that is why it is only 256 large cap stocks and not all. Not all. So if the question is all, the answer is incorrect. Select 256 large cap and mid cap stocks. Okay? Yeah. That's all.